Welcome back. Now, pushing of physical and mental boundaries, the process of back and forth, growth, stagnation, regression, of course, are some of the themes or subjects that Beth Diane Armstrong attempts to address in her latest body of work titled In Perpetuum. Now, Armstrong was recently named the Standard Bank Young Artist winner for visual arts and exhibited the work at the National Arts Festival in Grahamstown. The 31-year-old Nelspruit-born artist joins me now to tell us more about the exhibition, which navigates between sculpture, drawing and video. A very good morning to you, Beth, and welcome to Morning Live.
Good morning, Spiro. Nice to be here. Thank you.
Indeed. Now, before we start this conversation, once again, congratulations on you winning the Standard Bank Young Artist Award. How does that feel? What does it mean to you?
It's wonderful. It's overwhelming. It's bigger than me. Yeah, I keep trying to have a bit of a reality check about the situations. Yeah,
it's your first big award, isn't it?
It's my first big award, yeah.
Wow.
It was really overwhelming getting that phone call. I did not expect it at all. And it's just been the most incredible experience. It's accelerated my personal and artistic growth in ways that I couldn't even imagine. So it's been such a blessing, yeah.
Oh, it certainly is. Yeah. Now take us through those moments of conceptualizing this body of work, the period between winning the award and making sure that the work is ready for the National Arts Festival in Grahamstown.
In Grahamstown, yeah. Yeah, so that's where the award starts. You have your first big show in Grahamstown, and then it actually tours around the country for a year.
Okay.
And leading up to that, so you know, the amount of work that I needed to make for the show required me to actually expand my infrastructure quite extensively. So I now have a bigger studio, more assistants. I work with fabricators to help me with some of my works. So everything needed to kind of grow on an infrastructure level. And conceptually, for me, I don't really work first concept and then execution of work. My concept and my work kind of happen in a relay. So actually first I make, and then I stand back and look and think, and then I make, and then think, and then make and think, which ties in very much to the title In Perpetuum, which means forever and ever, ongoing, on and on.
Yeah. What's the significance of that name, basically, by the way?
So this show is basically a kind of a snapshot in time of the process of me as a creative being. I can't really separate myself as a creative being in process from my work and my life. I just move through the world creating. So for me, there isn't necessarily always like a clear beginning or end to a conceptual process. So what you see in this exhibition is quite literally just the process of my being in process, which, you know, ties into the idea of infinity and ongoing, on and on.
For sure. And what are some of the issues that you tackle in this body of work?
So there aren't any issues per se, as in like socio-political, cultural issues. It's a little bit subtler than that, in a sense. So what I hope for my viewer is that they come to this body of work which is largely abstracted, and they're presented with mostly objects and images and experiences that they can't quite place, they can't quite pin down, and in that you're kind of left with, you know, you can't easily understand something, you can't easily put it in a box, you can't easily say it's this or that. And in that process you're left with yourself, you're left with your engagement with your thoughts. You presented with a spatial relationship, and it kind of asks you to think about how you feel. Yeah,
and why are those issues worth zooming into? Why are they even worth mentioning?
I think in this day and age, there's so much, this is how I personally feel, there's just so much noise. We constantly like living on the surface of things, like we're constantly distracted on our phones, on you know, Instagram, on Twitter, on this and that, and we're kind of like here on the surface, like fluttering about, and we don't really have moments where we can be quiet and get to a little bit of a quieter depth about things. So I'm just providing a space, hopefully, I'm not saying I do, but I'm hopefully providing a space where people can just come in and be somewhere else. and somewhere else that they can't,
by this.
somewhere else that they can't understand, which is really good because we're always trying to understand things, and sometimes in not understanding things we get onto some other level with ourselves.
Exactly, exactly. Now, and having said that, I'm actually glad you touched on that.
Yeah.
You've openly admitted in the past that there's a significant amount of insecurity that lies beneath your work. What do you mean by this?
I think that's a bit of an artist thing.
Really?
Yeah. Well, I think maybe in the visual arts, probably more than the performing arts.
Okay.
I don't know, performers seem to have more natural confidence. But there's, well, let me take it back to the personal. Behind all my works, there's
or maybe just to tell us in layman terms, in simpler terms.
There's a large amount, for me, I live in quite an abstracted world. I think in an abstracted sense, in like in like relations and colours, and there's a lot of.
What do you think is the root cause of that?
I think I'm just an eccentric artist. I don't know.
Oh, that's interesting to know.
I think that's the beauty of being an artist, that everyone has their own way of seeing in the world. Yeah, I definitely have a way of being in the world that's, I speak about it often in terms of this density and looseness in relation to the way that I see, feel, be in the world is through this movement of like expansion, contraction, coming and going, pushing and pulling.
Okay, just briefly, we haven't got much time, unfortunately. Now, speak to us about the different mediums of work that you use, such as sculpture, drawing,
it's mostly,
and video.
Yeah, I mostly sculpt in steel, and a lot of my work is kind of large, monumental steel sculptures, but then I also make quite small, intricate, very detailed sculptures.
Wow.
I do explore drawing and video, especially in this exhibition. It's the first time one is seeing that of my work. But for many years, I've mostly been making steel sculptures.
So is the ultimate goal to create art that is in perpetuum? Is that even possible to create that lasts forever?
It lasts forever? That's a romantic notion.
Well, indulge us on that.
I don't really have an answer.
All right, no worries about that. But then great chatting to you, Beth.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for coming through.
No problem.
That was Beth Diane Armstrong. She's the 2017 Standard Bank Young Artist winner for visual arts, and her exhibition titled In Perpetuum actually opened at the Standard Bank Gallery in Johannesburg on Friday and runs up until the 30th of